We had one of your former colleagues on the show recently. Hank Azaria was here last month, and
Oh,
here's
I
what
love
we have a
Hank.
clip of him, and here's what he had to say about almost playing Joey on Friends.
I would have been about 2 to 3 times as rich, that's for sure. And that's the only job I ever auditioned for twice. I thought it was so good. They had rejected me once. I said, you know what? I'm going back. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try it again. And they were very gracious and said, sure, come on back in. And then just as quickly went, no, thank you, the second time. But then they had me on the show. But, at first, I think it's amazing. Matt LeBlanc, in my opinion, in the first few episodes of Friends, first season, he hadn't really found it yet. And all that first season, I was like, I could have been funnier than him. And then to me, he got hilarious. Like, he really grew into that. He really found himself in that role, and to the point where I don't think I could have been anywhere near as funny.
For me, obviously, you're the only Joey Tribbiani that could ever be a Joey Tribbiani, but is it weird to think of someone else ever stepping into that role?
Well, I'm going to kick Hank's ass. I tell you that right now. I'm coming for you. No, he's actually right. It took a little while in the beginning. I struggled, and I think the writers kind of struggled to find out who this guy was. He was this guy across the hall, and he kind of hit on the girls all the time. And then there was this moment in time where we all kind of came to this conclusion that what if he hits on every other girl in New York except these 3? And that's where they sort of came up with the idea, I think, that he has all these sisters, and he became like a big protective brother to them. And then the character gelled with the group better, instead of being this guy because they needed to all be friends. And when there was a romantic thing, that needed to be a big thing. You couldn't have this guy across the hall, just this, lechy guy, like kind of drooling looking through the
Creeping
keyhole.
around all the time, waiting for them to come home drunk.
That was Mr. Heckles.
Mr. Heckles.
Yeah.
I loved Mr. Heckles.
Died with a broom in his hand.
Died with a broom. Of course, it was loud when you were down there, clearly.
Yeah, you remember. Good.
Of course I do. Of course I do.